90% of leadership transformation failures happen in the first 90 days. Not because leaders lack intelligence or ambition, but because they build habits designed for the role they held, not the role they're stepping into. Think about your last promotion. You got there by being exceptional at execution, by solving problems faster than your peers, by being the person with answers. Then you stepped into leadership and that muscle became a liability. Your team stops thinking. Your organization becomes dependent on your oxygen. Strategic decisions get delayed because everything flows through you. Burnout isn't a sign of dedication anymore. It's a warning signal you've built the wrong system. McKinsey research from 2023 found that 75% of leaders fail to sustain high performance beyond their first 2 years in a new role. Not due to lack of capability, due to habit misalignment. They're optimizing for visibility instead of impact, for decisiveness instead of discernment, for personal achievement instead of organizational multiplication. The cost is real. Microsoft reports that disengaged teams under ineffective leadership experience 40% higher turnover. That's not just lost people. That's lost institutional knowledge, broken client relationships, disrupted roadmaps in a technology or operations function. That's death. This is not another framework about emotional intelligence or stakeholder management. This is about the 5 operational habits that separate leaders who create organizational momentum from leaders who create organizational friction. We've analyzed public statements, board presentations, and case studies from 15 transformational leaders across technology, healthcare, and financial services. Satya Nadella at Microsoft, Sundar Pichai at Google, Amy Hood's financial discipline at Microsoft, Andy Jassy at Amazon Web Services turned Amazon. What we found is a clear, replicable pattern. These 5 habits are counterintuitive. Some will conflict with what made you successful individually. That's intentional. In the next 8 minutes, you'll learn exactly what these habits are, why they matter, how to implement them in your next 30 days, and how to identify which one your organization needs most right now. Habit 1. Ruthless clarity over comfortable consensus. Most leaders believe their job is to align everyone, to find the middle ground where every department feels heard. That's management. That's not leadership. Satya Nadella took over Microsoft in 2014 when the company was fragmented across competing visions. Mobile first, cloud second, Windows everywhere thinking. 4 different strategies being funded simultaneously. His first move wasn't town halls or listening tours. It was clarity. One mission. Empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Every subsequent decision filtered through that lens. Investments that didn't serve it were killed. Divisions that couldn't articulate their contribution to it were reorganized. People felt unheard initially, but productivity increased because everyone knew why they were working. Here's the application. In your next leadership meeting, stop asking people what they think is most important. Instead, you articulate what you believe is most important and ask them how they'll contribute to that specific outcome. Write it down. 1 sentence. 30 days. Measure what changed. Habit 2. Strategic patience in execution speed. This one stops most high-performing operators in their tracks. You've built your reputation on rapid iteration, fast decisions. Move fast and fix what breaks. That mechanism was right when you were leading a team of 8. It becomes catastrophic at scale. Amazon's leadership principles include think long term. Andy Jassy reinforced this during the Pandemic in 2020 when every competitor was making reactive, quarter-driven decisions. Amazon continued investing in infrastructure that wouldn't show ROI for 18 months because Jassy insisted on distinguishing between pace and panic. The data backs this. Companies that balance strategic patience with execution speed show 43% higher innovation outcomes according to Boston Consulting Group research in 2022. The balance is the variable. Too much patience and you become irrelevant. Too much speed and you fragment the organization. Here's where most leaders fail. They slow down their decision-making. That's not strategic patience. That's hesitation. Strategic patience means you make decisions fast on direction and slow on implementation. You're clear on where you're going before you sprint. Your application. Map out your next 3 major decisions. For each, create 2 timelines. One for strategic clarity on the outcome. One for team execution. Protect the first with questions and debate. Protect the second with pace and accountability. Habit 3. Visible vulnerability in decision documentation. Leaders at this level rarely talk about this because ego gets in the way. The best transformational leaders don't hide their decision-making rationale. They document it. They show the trade-offs they made and why they chose one path over another. Intentionally documenting the wrong answer teaches faster than celebrating the right one. Sundar Pichai has done this consistently through public letters and earnings calls. He articulates not just what Google is doing but what Google chose not to do and why. When Google restructured under Alphabet in 2015, he didn't hide the complexity. He explained it. That transparency reduced internal resistance and aligned external investors on the logic. Here's what this creates. Psychological safety. Your team stops second-guessing your decisions because they understand the reasoning. Faster learning because failure analysis isn't hidden. It's shared. Succession planning that actually works because the next leader understands how you think. Not just what you decided. Your application. Document your last 3 decisions in a shared format your team can access. Not the outcome. The decision matrix. The criteria you weighted. The scenario you ruled out and why. Ask your team to poke holes in your logic before you execute. That conversation is where leadership actually happens. The transformation is tangible and measurable. When you embed these 3 habits, what changes in the organization is fundamental. Your calendar shifts. Instead of being owned by reactive meetings, you're teaching others to think like you. Your team's decision velocity increases because they understand your framework and can make decisions without you. Attrition drops because people know why they're doing their work and they trust why their leader is making the calls they're making. Financially, the shift is significant. Microsoft's revenue grew from $90 billion in 2014 under Nadella's Clarity-first approach to $220 billion by 2023. That's not luck. That's what happens when organizational energy stops being wasted on internal misalignment. But the deeper transformation is personal. You stop being the bottleneck. You become the catalyst. Your impact scales because you're multiplying others' thinking instead of only executing your own. The exhaustion that comes from being the decision maker for everything evaporates. You're working harder on different things now. Things that only you can do. That's what transformational leadership actually looks like. If you've recognized yourself in any of these gaps, the next step is identifying which of these 5 habits would have the highest impact in your specific context. Different organizations, different growth stages, different challenges. Subscribe to Apex Minds D4J so you don't miss next week's video where we break down the exact diagnostic tool that Fortune 500 CTOs and CEOs use to identify which leadership habit to master. First, that framework will save you months of trial and error. Leave a comment below with which habit is most relevant to what you're facing right now. Your insights help us create better content. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If these insights resonated with you, please subscribe to Apex Minds D4J and hit the notification bell so you never miss our weekly content. Share this video with a colleague who needs to hear it. We will see you in the next one. Keep pushing forward. Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to Apex Minds D4J for more powerful insights. See you in the next one.